Alright, but you gonna put this in the video. Okay, wait.
Come on, what you need socks for? They're not gonna look at your feet. Like, if you got a cough, you like get up and go somewhere. Get up and go somewhere else.
I finished.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
This is my sister.
Hi.
So today we're going to be reading through embarrassing confessions on Reddit. And before you say anything, I know the bonnet, my hair,
it don't move. Sorry.
It's not good right now. So I got the bonnet on. So the first one says, I'm a 16-year-old boy, important later. So basically I need some cash. And I saw an ad to be a custom model. So I accepted it. All was well and good until I was told I looked super young, so I would be wearing costumes that were for kids and adults. For some reason, most of these costumes were animals. Okay? The worst part was that they didn't have enough female models, so I was forced to wear wigs, excessive makeup, and costumes specifically meant for girls. The worst part being a unicorn and a Care Bear. Oh!
That's nice.
Okay. After a couple months, when Halloween season rolled around, people found these photos and I still get scrutinized for them.
Wait,
Care
why
Bear.
did you want to be a model?
No, he needed cash. That's why. He saw an ad. I'm about to cry. That was like, the Care Bear part did not need to be. Why you still put on your socks?
I have to go soon.
Next. Till this day, only my fiance knows about this. A few years back, we traveled to the Galapagos with 3 other friends. One of our stops was in San something such. Checked into our Airbnb, which is about maybe a 5-minute walk. Huh?
Crystal ball.
Okay. Checked into our Airbnb, which was maybe a 5-minute walk outside of the main town. It was getting late, and we decided to go for a walk to the town and grab dinner. Food was delicious. After dinner, we started walking back and happened to stumble across some local street fair. We started taking a look around and then it hit me. Stomach started to bubble. For whatever reason, I'm the type to almost never use a public restroom. To poop. Me too. I think everybody.
I don't even use a bathroom in public places.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Germs. Don't trust public restrooms. So I thought to myself, I'll just walk to our Airbnb and go there while the rest of my friends stay at the fair. No big deal. Told everyone I was feeling tired and that I would lay back down. So I started making my way back to the Airbnb, but completely underestimated how far this place was. Kid you not, I was moving at the pace of an Olympic power walker. Bottom clenched as hard as I could.
Oh.
I suggest YouTubing it if you don't know. Why would I want to know what that looks like? The locals passing by staring at me like a strange foreigner. How you say that?
Foreigner?
Foreigner. 10 minutes go by and I'm still not there. Sheesh.
That's crazy.
Sheesh. Morale is sinking, but in the distance I see a familiar landmark. Oh my god, I'm so close, I thought to myself. 5 more minutes and I make it. Sheesh, you were walking for 25 minutes. Like, why are you walking 25 minutes back?
15 minutes. Right?
I try to open the gate and it's locked. F word. I take out the keys my friend gave me and it's a whole ring of keys. There must have been around 15 keys in this thing. I'm frazzled and panicking. Now imagine the scene of Titanic where Jack and Rose are trying to open the gate as the water is rising, fidgeting through multiple keys because their lives depended on it. My anxiety far exceeded that, but somehow I managed to find the right one. I rush and only to find our actual room is locked. I think somebody set y'all up. Cause what? Someone set you up.
Got bad luck.
What you mean the bedroom door is locked? At this point, I'm almost certain this is it. As soon as I found the right key, there it was. The wet feeling down my butt. That verified my defeat.
Wait, why did she just go in the bush? If it was like that bad. If it was that bad, then like you should have just went in the bush, like instead of getting all of that stuff all up in your balls and stuff. You know? She was walking for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then the walking also helps your digestive system go, so like, yeah. That's not funny. That's not funny.
That's not
I did not laugh. Okay, so she has to go now. I'm gonna read the rest by myself. Bye-bye. You know what I'm in the mood for? I'm in the mood for scary stories. So if you're watching this, the video was supposed to be reacting to embarrassing stories, but now we're reacting to scary stories. I'm really like into scary stories, so like hopefully these are scary. Like I'm talking about like bone chilling, like I'm shaking, I'm panicking, I'm gonna have a nightmare tonight. This happened like 15 years ago. I was on school holiday and my friends, we'll call her Sarah, and I was extremely bored and just wanted to chill. This was summertime, so we lived in a small town named something such in Texas. Everything kind of spread out. Anyways, it was around midnight and we didn't know where to go. So we just decided to go to a park. Why would you go to a park at midnight? Come on, that's a bad option. Out of all the places in the whole entire world, you decide to go to a park at midnight. A park at midnight. Like you couldn't go to a club or like a bowling alley. It's a little big. We were there for an hour or so. Nothing unusual until we both saw someone and something crouched on a table. First off, a little weird someone else being in the same park at this time. But what's creepy is that the person was crouching on top of a table. I would have been like, let's go. Let's go. Because why is someone crouching on the table? Like, no. I would just think the person's on something and just like, all right, let's go. This is not the area we should be in. He wasn't even sitting on the bench. What really messed me up was, because I didn't look away, I kept looking closer. I noticed that there were wings. Wings? Oh, yeah, no. The body was completely human, but had wings. That part I'll never forget. You saw somebody with wings crouched up on a table in midnight. You better had ran right out of there. All of a sudden, the most blood-curdling scream, like a woman being stabbed to death, but it sounded like a woman, but unhuman at the same time. That actually gives me the chills, because, like, I don't like those type of things. Because a few, months ago, I had this nightmare where, this blood-curdling scream would just scream in the middle of my hallway, at nighttime. It would, repeatedly keep going on. This woman would just, scream this inhuman scream. Oh, my goodness, yo. Then it just stands up. And then it's 8 foot tall. We both ran as fast as we could. Have you ever ran to your lungs max capacity? I ran until I had no air left in my lungs, and then kept running until I had to slow down because I was coughing too much. We knocked on people's doors and kept getting threatened that they have guns. Hello? If a panicked person is knocking at your door, let them in, obviously, or look in the peephole, what's going on? Are you okay? I have a gun! It's a person asking for help. We were literally locked outside with this thing. I kept looking to the sky because this reminded me of Jeepers Creepers movie. After maybe 20 minutes, the police show up and of course, thinks we're on drugs. It's understandable, but wanted to let us go. I walked the rest because I live a few blocks away. Do not tell me that the thing was following him the whole entire time. The police drove my friend home, but didn't drive you home? There was a white cop and a Mexican cop. The Mexican cop heard the story. He pretended like it's made up, but the look on his face said he knows something about this thing that nobody knows. I'm not sure what this would fall under, but it was definitely one of the most strangest experiences I've had in years. I work at a night shift for a warehouse. I don't like night shifts. Come on. Night shifts scare me so bad, cause what are you doing working at nighttime? Won't say which, since it's not important to the story, only that I was coming home around 3 a.m. No thank you. If they told me I had to do a shift and then come home at 3 a.m., yeah, no. Now, I'm out in the country where my home is in the hills, and it's about half a mile from the main road. About halfway up the nice smooth road turns into dirt, as my wheels hit the dirt. I felt eyes watching me mostly. I felt eyes watching me almost immediately. Which normally I wouldn't care because it's normal to see wildlife watching me. My eyes immediately turned to the direction of the dark patch of woods on the other side of the road. Something told me to look there, and I held my knife up, calmly saying, I know you're there. Wait, are you in your car? I thought he was in his car. Am I tripping? Oh, I didn't read this one part. So he grabbed his pocket knife and he stepped out. Why would you step out of the car? I'm gonna stay in the car and keep going if I feel eyes on me. Like, he gonna talk about some, I know you're there. As the words left my lips, the world went dead quiet, which is very strange, as there was a waterfall maybe 500 to 600 feet away from me, and I can always hear it when I come home, but even it went silent. Ooh, not the waterfall going silent too. It stayed like this for a good 10 seconds before... Oh, that was this. That scared me. It stayed like this for a good 10 seconds before the sound returned, and I heard something running away from me. I just kept my knife to my side, and I walked like I normally would to the house, as I felt like running would have been a bad idea. Yes, as I got in, I saw the dogs that normally greeted me weren't anywhere in sight, and they were in the living room, both looking out the window in the same direction I felt the gaze coming from. Dogs? Dogs and cats know stuff, y'all. Ooh, it's so chilling. I didn't say anything to my fiance as she was asleep, and she doesn't have a belief for the paranormal, as I do, coming from my South American Indian tribe. I grew up on stories from my dad, and I've heard of Native American stories of those words that we do not say. I'll put them on the screen, but you won't catch me saying them. But since that night, I've never felt the same presence. No idea what it could have been, I just know it wasn't a deer like I'd normally see around my home. Yeah, you won't catch me doing 3 a.m. shifts ever again. Absolutely not. Okay, so I used to live in this old house from about 7 years to 10 years old. So this happened a while ago. But when me and my family, my mom and my sisters, both 4 at the time, moved there, was some kind of... Can people please put commas? There was something kind of off about it. There was always like a sense of dread there, and the type that will make you feel like you're being watched. But the most creepiest part of the house was the small closet underneath our stairs going down to the basement, where me and my sister slept in. This person can't spell either. Oh my gosh. In the 4 years of living there, none of us ever went into there because of how creepy it was, but that's beside the point. The first couple incidents that happened weren't really that big, just like the lights turning on when you thought you turned them off. But when then the more messed up stuff. What? But then the more messed up stuff started happening. Most nights when I tried to sleep, I always had this sense that someone was watching me in the pitch black, and some nights I couldn't even move. That's when I would get a night light. I used to love sleeping with the lights off. I used to hate sleeping with like any type of light on me because I always grew up like just in pitch black, just sleeping in pitch black. In 2023, I started having like spider problems, so like I always like put a light on so I could see where a spider was coming from. But like ever since I started getting into like the creepy stories and stuff, like you will not catch me sleeping with the lights off. Nothing ever paranormal like happened here in this house. Like this house is filled with God. You won't catch no spirits coming up in here, except the Holy Spirit. But if I was that person, I would start sleeping with some night lights or something, cause what do you mean you feel like someone is watching you? This one night when I was about 8, I couldn't sleep at all, and so I tried to sleep in my mom's bed. I laid awake until about 2 in the morning, until I started getting the feeling someone was watching me, and I couldn't move. That was until I heard my mom's music box start playing. Then I was totally about to crap my pants, scared. Me too. Like, when I tried to wake up my mom, it stopped. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. No, I would force myself to sleep so I wouldn't be able to, like, deal with the presence. This is giving me the chills, y'all. This is giving me the chills. Nothing really happened after that except me and my sister slowly stopped sleeping in our room and started sleeping on the upstairs couch because we were so scared. My mom had to sell the house because we couldn't pay for it anymore. Good. Like, that's basically torture. Like, you can't sleep. Like, you had to go upstairs. Like, that's basically torture. But on the last night that we were there, me and one of my sisters decided that we were going to go to the closet and look behind the corner just to see what was there. Understandable. I would have too, because, like, we about to move, so whatever. Right as we were going around it, the door slammed shut and we screamed and ran to the door, pushing one other out of the way. And when we went to tell my family, wait, what? Wait, that last part was confusing. That last part was probably gonna be really scary too, but come on, the writing, y'all. Years later, I learned that the old man that made the house and lived in it also died in it too. Okay, so there's a trigger warning on this one. I think it's like a suicide warning, so trigger warning, guys, for like suicide, I believe. This was my most recent terrifying nightmare. Oh, I love nightmare stories so much. Ooh. I've had many, but this one was really different from the rest. So for some backstory, when I was a little kid, I lived in Miami. From the stories I've heard, the neighborhood I lived in was the hood. When I was about 5 years old, we left. So now into the dream, or should I say, nightmare. My parents decided that we were going to visit our old house in the neighborhood in Miami. I wish I could visit my old house. I miss it. When we got there, we noticed it was blocked from the rest of the city with a tall metal gate going around the whole neighborhood. Hello? The gate didn't have an opening. Instead, it led to a small hallway kind of thing. I'm trying to visualize this. I can't though. For some reason, a kid from my current school was now there waiting at the gate with me and my family. So we got inside the neighborhood and it was run down and broken. Oh wait, I forgot. This is a nightmare, y'all. Forgot. This isn't real. My brother went in his room, my parents in theirs, and my friend and my sister and I were chilling in the living room. We were standing there for like a few minutes when my sister said something stupid to my friend, like something a 5-year-old would say. I can't really remember. He got mad and turned to me and said he was going to hit her. He then proceeded to go into another room to get a golf club. Hello? I tried calming him down and calling my parents, but no one listened. In an effort to protect my sister, I took 3 hits with the club. After a few more hits, he picked up my sister and bit her in the neck. That's not a human. I tackled him to the ground, still with my sister in his jaws. Blood everywhere. I tried to punch him, but it didn't do anything. That happens to me all the time. Anytime I'm trying to like fight somebody in my dreams, the punches don't do anything. And I'm like, am I weak? But then I wake up and I'm like, okay, thank God that was just a dream. Cause like, am I really weak? For a few more seconds and I start jabbing a stick into his rib cage, but nothing was working. The cops came and took him away. The look in his eyes were unforgettable. I've never seen so much hate in someone's eyes. We stayed in that house for years. I was watching the news one day wait, is this still the nightmare? I was watching the news one day on the TV that just appeared in the house. It said that my friend went crazy in the prison, and stayed in his cell for a few days, never touching light. And that he carved a smile onto his face. Wait, he like carved a smile like with a knife? At the end of the broadcast, it said that he went missing from his cell a few days ago. I broke down because I knew he was coming for me. I grabbed a knife and tried to myself. Before I got the chance, I looked behind me, and there he was. Bleached white skin, wearing all black, and with a bloody smile on his face. He aggressively yelled, "Suicide!" and my throat. That was one of the most vivid nightmares I've ever had. It was trippy seeing that same friend in school the next day. Yo, imagine you have that type of nightmare about somebody, you have to see them the next day. I would tell them the story. I'd be like, you know, in my nightmare you killed me? Like, you having to face them the exact next day. Like, so this one has 2 parts. I want to read it, but I feel like it's going to be boring. Bro, that 5-minute story just for that. I was around 5 and 6 years old at this time, and we were moving to a different province. We didn't have a place yet, so we were staying near a nearby shelter while looking for one. Staying at a nearby shelter. I forgot where the shelter was, but we were told it had been transformed to a shelter after someone decided to make use of the abandoned building. We're told it was half of an institution or something. Okay, I don't need to know that! We had a strange room, I'd say. It was about 8 by 9 foot room with a heavy metal door and 2 bunk beds on either side of the room. The bunk beds had metal framing and seemed a tad bit unstable, and the mattresses I don't need to know this. I remember vividly that my siblings and my mother were in the kitchen preparing the food for the shelter. As it was their turn, that was part of the agreement to stay there. But there were at least 40 other people. It was 2 to 3 floors and had a basement. What? I remember going to bed early because I was really tired. So my mother opened the heavy door and let me go in the room, turned on the light, and waited for me to climb the ladder to the top of my bed before saying goodnight. She then turned the light off and I snuggled in the blankets. But I couldn't fall asleep, so I stared at the ceiling. I don't know how much time passed, but I heard the bunk bed on the other side of the room creak, as if someone was climbing up the ladder of the bunk bed, right across from mine. And since my older brother was the one who slept there, I spoke thinking it was him, and he somehow quietly snuck in the room to not wake me up. So when I heard the creaking stop, indicating someone was on the mattress across from me, I said, "Hey Aiden, you didn't have to sneak in. I can't fall asleep." Only to get no response. This was unusual for him, since he usually says something right away, either to tease me or to help me sleep. However, I got no response, just the sound of sheets rustling a tiny bit. I assumed he didn't hear me, so I spoke louder. "Hi Aiden, did you guys finish the food yet?" No response. To this, I became a little worried that something had upset him, so I sat up and turned my head towards the bed, hoping that I would be able to comfort him, but if he was upset. I barely got his name out of my mouth when I had realized it wasn't him. Yeah, these are the type of stories I like. But a dark figure, some girl around my age at the time, she had 2 braids and a puffy old-fashioned dress. She had been sitting crisscross, staring and pointing in my direction. I, of course, got so scared I couldn't scream, thinking if I'd be harmed in some way, so I stayed quiet and hid under my blankets. Oh yeah, Jesus, Lord have mercy. A few hours later, my mom comes in and turns on the light, and with my siblings behind her, I seen the light on, so I automatically assumed someone was in the room, and I was safe. So I shot up from under my blankets and quickly climbed down the ladder and hugged my mom, and she asked me what was wrong, since I was shaking. But me thinking that the girl was still in the room, waited till the next day when we went out for our morning walk to explain to her what happened. After explaining what happened, how I couldn't sleep, and heard someone go into the bunk bed across from me thinking it was my older brother, then seeing this girl with braids and stuff, my mom was horrified. But just to be sure it wasn't my imagination, she went asking people in the shelter about a supposed ghost, giving no details about what I had told her. This lady, we'll call her Courtney, told my mom, "Yes, there's a spirit roaming. It takes the form of a girl, has 2 braids, and an old-fashioned dress. She used to visit me every night, but suddenly stopped when you guys moved in." My mom replied to Courtney, "Well, my daughter's seen someone with the exact description you have given me, and at the time I thought it was just her imagination or something like that." Anyways, Courtney then walked away. Things were pretty quiet after that. I seen something run in the corner of my eye every once in a while, or hear the sound of knife sharpening. Hello? When no one was in the kitchen, and the occasional sounds of screaming from the basement when no one was down. And that's the last story, because this video I've already been filming for like an hour. Alright, so that was all the stories and stuff. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!